Hello, my name is Dan Williams, and I'm delighted to come your way once again. Today, I want to talk to us about something I feel is very important and interesting in marriages. And those of us that are intending to get married ought to have a very good understanding on this matter also. I call it financial transparency in marriage. The Bible said, money answereth all things. Money plays a very important role in marriage. And where there is no transparency in how money is gotten or spent in a home, it becomes a problem. The Bible said that two can only walk when they agree. So there ought to be clarity, there ought to be agreement in how we get money and also how we spend our money in marriage. Where this understanding is very clear, then problems in marriage will be very minimal. There is need to have a full financial disclosure even before you get married. What I mean by financial disclosure is this: your source of income, how you get money, what you do to get money, and how much you get by the end of the week or by the end of the month ought to be disclosed to your spouse. If you love the person and you are going to spend the rest of your life with that person, there ought not to be secrecy in this area. The Bible said the man and the woman were naked and they were not ashamed. So it is not an area where you should have secrecy. So there ought to be a full financial disclosure of, foremostly, the source of your income and what you do for a living. The Bible talked about the flying scroll that was found in the house of a thief. It eats up everything, including the walls of the house. So if your spouse is a thief, you ought to know the source of income and advise him against it. That is why it's very important to understand the source of everybody's income as you get into marriage. Secondly, you ought to also discuss about savings. What savings are you making? Do you have savings for a rainy future? Do you have any investment that you are saving for or keeping part of your resources? Also ought to be known and understood. Thirdly, there ought to be an understanding of your debt portfolio. Are you in debt? Do you have any loans that you are servicing? Do you have any charity that you are giving your money to? Do you have any financial obligations that you have to meet, like you having an aged parent or a charity that you are servicing? All this ought to be disclosed before you get into marriage so that nobody feels cheated in the marriage. I have also had cause to answer questions about people saying they are in business. Is it proper for them to disclose their income to their spouses, their capital? Are they supposed to bring forth their capital for spending? I used to tell them this: every business ought to pay you as an individual undertaking the business. You ought to pay yourself maybe by the end of the month or after a certain period of time. What do you pay yourself is what is brought to the common purse. What you pay yourself, assuming you are a businessman, and you pay yourself 100,000 by the end of every month. That is your wage. That is what can be spent at home. That is what you can spend with your family. While your capital is being rolled over in your business, you make more profit, you pay yourself, you bring your 100,000 to the pool. And assuming your wife is a civil servant and her salary is 100,000 in totality, and you agree that she is able to bring 50,000 into that common pool for the family. And from that pool, she is able to tell you she has obligations or debt that she services. That is very clear. By the end of the month, everybody in the family now knows that we have 150,000 naira to budget on. 100,000 from the husband and 50,000 from the wife, for any reason why they have agreed to bring in this sum into the common pool. So that is how your finances are managed, where you service needs in the family. Where there is transparency, where there is clarity of source of incomes, obligations in the marriage, there won't be any problem in finances. In conclusion, financial secrecy is a bane to the success of every marriage. I recommend that you streamline issues of marriage, discuss them, and make sure every party in the marriage has a clear understanding of what is gotten and what is available to be spent by the family. Doing it that way saves you a lot of misunderstandings and conflict in your marriage. Dearly beloved, here at Perfect Union Initiative, we guide people's relationship in the way that God would want it. To discuss confidential matters, you can visit our office at Alibro Atrium in Utako FCT, Abuja. For your bookings, visit our website at www.perfectunioninitiative.com. For further inquiries, call the number on your screen. We will be waiting to hear from you. God bless you, and until we come your way next time, I remain Dan William.